My name is Mary, and this is the story of the day I realized I had never truly belonged in my own family. I came to my sister Ellie's wedding with a simple intention: to celebrate, smile for a few photos, and play the role of the kind older sister, as I always had. The wedding was held at a stunning lakeside resort in Vermont, known for its flower-filled gardens and lavish banquet halls with soaring glass ceilings. As soon as I arrived, a staff member opened my car door. I smoothed the wine-colored dress I had chosen, the only one I felt suited the occasion, and walked in with a calm smile. I wasn't there to stand out. This was Ellie's day, and I had long accepted that I wasn't the favored child. What I didn't expect was just how cold they could be. At the front desk, the receptionist greeted me with a bright smile. "Your name?" "Mary Evans," I replied. Her expression faltered for a moment. She flipped through the guest list a little too quickly, then paused. "Ah, here you are. You're seated in the hallway area." "Sorry, where?" "Just outside the banquet hall, near the coat check," she replied as if it were completely normal. Confused, I glanced at the seating chart. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Evans, were seated at the head table. Ellie's close friends and her husband's colleagues were inside, under glittering chandeliers. "Maybe there's been a mistake," I said carefully. "I'm afraid not," she replied. Trying to keep my composure, I walked toward Ellie and my mother, Caroline. They were laughing, heads close, adjusting Ellie's veil. "Mom, can I talk to you for a moment?" Caroline sighed, visibly annoyed. "Not now, Mary. Can't you see we're busy?" "It'll only take a second." She groaned but stepped aside. "I was seated in the hallway," I said. She shrugged. "We had to prioritize close family. You know that." "I am close family," I replied, voice tight. Ellie smiled, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "It was probably just a mix-up. Weddings are hectic." I looked to my mother again. Nothing. "Don't ruin your sister's big day, Mary. Be grateful you were invited." That word, grateful, hit me like a slap. My father, Charles, joined us. "It's just a seat, sweetheart. Don't make it a thing." I said nothing and walked away, heels clicking against marble. My place card read, "Mary Evans, Table H, hallway area." I held it like a piece of proof. They didn't see me. They never had. "Mary!" Ellie called out behind me. I turned. "Are you upset? Because of the seating?" "I'm not upset. I'm disappointed." "You're always so sensitive. It's just a seat. Who even cares?" "It's not about the seat," I replied. "It's how this family has always treated me." She smirked. "You showed up. You wore the pretty dress. You still want their approval. That's what's sad." "No, Ellie. What's sad is you needing to tear others down to feel loved." Mom appeared then, tense. "I heard there's some drama." "Mom, I was seated in the hallway. I'm your daughter." She gave me a strained smile. "We had limited seats. I had to prioritize people closer to Ellie." "And I'm not closer?" "You've always been independent. I never had to worry about you." Ellie interrupted. "You're overreacting. You should be grateful you were even invited." I looked at my mother, her eyes unreadable. "Do you even hear how that sounds?" "It's just a seat, Mary," my father said, not even looking at me. "At least look me in the eye when you say that." Ellie scoffed. "If you're so unhappy, just leave." And for the first time, I realized I might. I walked down the hall and sat on a bench near the coat rack. Everything they said echoed like a song I'd heard too many times. A memory surfaced. Thanksgiving, 3 years ago. Ellie was away. Mom asked me to find old photos. In her room, I found a leather notebook. Page after page, it was all about Ellie. Ellie's first day of school. Ellie's favorite meals. Ellie's milestones. Not a single word about me. When I asked her, she smiled. "Ellie's sensitive. I needed to remember things for her." "What about me?" You were always strong. You didn't need to be written about. And now, here I was, sitting by the coat rack, again, the forgotten daughter. A voice pulled me from my thoughts. Mary, it was Ethan Bennett, the groom. Seeing you out here doesn't feel right, he said. Your family made it clear I don't belong. He paused. Can I ask you something? Has Ellie ever said anything about me off? You mean, has she badmouthed you? He nodded. She's been different, secretive. There are things she doesn't want me to know. I'm starting to think I never really knew her. I hesitated. Then, you might want to brace yourself, because I don't think you do. Before he could respond, another voice joined us. If you're still unsure, maybe your mother can make things clear. It was Celeste Bennett, Ethan's mother, poised, calm. She held out a phone. Ethan took it, scrolled. His expression shifted from confusion to anger to heartbreak. She said she was training me, that I'm predictable, that as long as she stayed sweet, this house would be hers. Celeste nodded. There are also texts to her stylist. Ellie said she'd make you dependent after the wedding and take everything. Ethan looked shattered. Why do you have these? A friend works at the stylist's studio. They accidentally sent the backup to my email. Ethan sat down slowly, glass in hand. I stood quietly beside him. For the first time that day, I didn't feel alone. The truth had finally found its way to the surface, and I wasn't going to be silent anymore. The phone was still in Ethan's hand, but the air around us felt frozen. I sat beside him in silence. A part of me hurt for him, but another part knew. This was the moment when long-buried truths finally surfaced. Celeste stood quietly, her expression composed. Then she said gently, Mary, thank you for not turning away. I gave a small nod. I didn't need thanks. I just needed the truth, not to stay buried. And from this point on, I knew. This wedding would no longer go the way Ellie had planned. She wouldn't control everything. Not anymore. We gathered in a private conference room on the resort's second floor. The air felt heavy, the tension thick. No one spoke. The door shut behind us with a soft click. The only sounds were the low hum of the AC and the breeze slipping through a cracked window. Ethan sat at the head of the table, his eyes blank. Celeste stood behind him, her hand resting gently on his shoulder like the only anchor keeping him grounded. I sat off to the side, hands in my lap, heart pounding. Then the door opened again. Ellie walked in, my mother Caroline behind her. Mom looked confused. Ellie, on the other hand, wore her usual mask of control. But beneath it, I saw the flicker of worry. What's going on? Ellie asked, voice pitched high. Why are you pulling people out of the wedding? Ethan stood, calm but firm. He reached into his jacket and placed a white envelope on the table. Do you know what this is? Ellie didn't respond. It's a petition to annul the marriage, he said. And in case you're wondering, I've already signed it. Silence fell. My mother gasped. Ellie stepped back, stunned. You're joking. Celeste's voice was like a blade. We read your messages, Ellie, every word, about Ethan, about me, about all of this. Ethan interrupted, voice low but trembling with anger. You called my mother a rich old woman who only knows how to write checks. You told your friend that 6 months after the wedding you'd have it all under control. You called me easy to manipulate. Pretend to be fragile and get what you want. Ellie said nothing. I turned to look at my mother. She was pale, still, like she was seeing her daughter for the first time. They were jokes, Ellie whispered. Just texts between friends, not serious. Celeste gave a bitter laugh. And the divorce consultation you filed last month? Was that a joke too? That's when my father, Robert, entered. He looked around, his face grim. "Is this true?" he asked Ellie. She stayed silent. He turned to Caroline. "Did you know? I didn't think Ellie would—" "You never think," he said. "You've never looked at what's really going on." Then he turned to me. "Mary," he said. "I'm sorry." I blinked. In all my years, I had never heard my father apologize. "I've let this go too long. You were right. About everything." Ellie snapped. "You're taking her side over a few dumb texts?" Ethan gripped the table. "Don't call them dumb. That's who you really are." Ellie shouted, "I love you. I just wanted stability. What's wrong with that?" Celeste replied, "Love doesn't look like planning a divorce before the wedding." Ellie spun on me, furious. "This is your fault. You poisoned Mom against me. You always wanted to take me down." I stood firm. "No, Ellie. I just wanted the truth to be seen." Caroline stepped forward. Her voice trembled. "Ellie, I can't defend you anymore." Ellie stared at me, hands clenched. Her once perfect makeup now smudged, her wedding gown suddenly burdensome. "You always wanted to ruin me," she hissed. I said nothing. I didn't have to. Celeste stepped between us. "That's enough," she said, voice sharp. Ellie froze. "Get out of my way." "No, letting you do one more foolish thing would be on me." Ellie looked around. No one spoke, no one moved. Finally, she turned and stormed out. We followed as she burst into the reception hall where music and laughter still floated. Guests turned. Conversation stopped. "You think you can humiliate me like this?" she screamed. Ethan stepped forward. "No one humiliated you." "You did that yourself." "You love me. I did everything for us." Celeste stepped beside him. "You never wanted to be part of this family. You just wanted what we had." Gasps echoed. People whispered. Ellie pointed at me. "She made this up. Mary's always been jealous." I stepped forward. "I